It's your girl Michelle, Shelly D. Cotton, here for your Words of Wisdom Wednesday. So, today we're going to be talking about some dating and relationship tips. I'm going through the dating like everybody else. So, let me just be transparent and say that in 2020 it's very challenging. Not because of the dating itself, but for some reason, men and women, there has been so much pain and damage being caused by prior relationships that people have been involved in and have invested in, that now it has just become a huge strain and challenge when you're trying to enter into something new, when you're trying to trust people. So I came to give a few tips. As you guys know, that I am a personal development coach, and I also try to help people improve on their lifestyle as well as my own. So I'm going through this with you. So the tip for today is lower your guard and raise your standard. What do you mean, Michelle? Why would you ask me to lower my guard? Shouldn't I keep my guards up? Yes, to a certain degree. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries, having guards. But what guards do, they protect or they defend things from entering from the outside. So when we're discussing love, guess what happens? We tend to block what God can be trying to get to us because we are so guarded. Guarded, let me say this, guard your heart. The Bible does speak of guarding our heart to make sure that we're healing from past things that could have caused us pain and damage. Things like rejection, things like not trusting people or being able to trust again, abandonment, neglect. Yes, I want you to heal from those past relationships before we enter into something new. But I also want you to relax those guards a little bit because, again, once you're so guarded and you have all these walls built up around you, have this fortress, this force field around you, you're missing out on love. You're missing out on the opportunity for someone to come to demonstrate that love to you, to connect with you on a deeper level. Of course, being equally yoked with the right person. That's first. So let me give you the first tip about lowering your guards. Okay, so like I said before, rejection is one of the main causes that in dating and relationship, the guard go up. We are humans, and it's human nature for us to hate rejection. Rejection is not a negative. We look at rejection as being something so horrible. But let me tell you this, rejection is not always a negative. Now, I'm not going to go as far as say it's a positive, but it's not a total negative. So when you think about rejection, that means, you could get rejected from a job, rejected by people, not being accepted, not being received. So some cases, rejection builds up strength. Rejection is power. As they say in like sales, I know that I'm not the only person who's heard this before, but if you get so many no's, you're going to get to your yes. And so I look at rejection like that. During the acting, in my acting career, you guys, I had built up and still do have a high tolerance for rejection. Does it feel good? No, it doesn't. But can you build up a understanding of rejection? What do you mean, understanding of rejection? This is what I'm trying to say to you. Rejection, again, is not a negative all the time. Rejection does allow you to build up a strength against it. Where that strength comes from is knowing that just because someone or something or a situation or a circumstance rejected you, it just simply means that you wasn't a right fit for that relationship or that person. You wasn't the right fit for that career or that job opportunity. You wasn't the right fit for that gig that you went on, the audition. So it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. Rejection doesn't mean you're not good enough. Let me just say that again. Rejection does not mean that you're not good enough. It only means that you're not right for that person or that situation or that circumstance. So let's get rejection as a negative, put it out of our mind. Let me say this. When you change the way that you see things, The things that you see change. Let's move on. So fear. Fear is another reason why we are so heavily guarded. We are, again, rejection brings on fear. The lack of trust brings on fear. That abandonment and neglect, that low self-worth brings on fear because we are not being received. We're not being accepted. And so we have to also put that to the side. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but he's given us the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Remove the fear. Fear is not of God. So even in dating and relationships, don't be fearful. You can overcome that fear by, again, lowering the guard but raising your standard, okay? Also, the lack of trust. Trust is huge. Trust and communication is the foundation of, I'm going to go as far as to say anything. And when I mean anything, I mean business relationships, personal relationships, family relationships, because trust and communication is so key, and they have to be effective to be the root and the foundation of any type of relationship that you enter into. Even friendships, okay? So don't allow the lack of trust to impede your growth and your development when it comes to dating and getting to know someone. I say this all the time. If a person has not given me a reason to not trust them, then I trust them. Not saying that you have to be naive, that you lack the spirit of discernment, because God does give us wisdom. He does give us discernment. And so you know, that gut feeling that you have for men and women, you know when something's just not right. I do agree with acting on that intuition. Don't discount it. Don't play it to the left, because that's wisdom talking. That could be the Holy Spirit prompting you, saying that, not right. Something here is not cool. You know, give it some time. Get to know this person. So I'm not saying just be naive and be, gullible or anything like that. But be open-minded to trusting, because you have to develop a level of trust and communication for any type of relationship. So now let's talk about raising your standard. So we know how to lower our guards. We know what things cause us to be guarded. So we're going to just kind of reduce the whole idea of rejection. We're going to open up to trust again, right? And we're also going to let go of that fear as much as we can. I do agree with baby steps. Go ahead and baby step yourself. You don't have to jump out into the deep like everybody, but take your pace, as you can. But do improve and